So try to make this short and sweet so there's not too much just of me talking here. But I would say a few areas that I would want to focus on first, some short term things, and then try to give you a little bit of long term direction and things to work on as you're going. So, first thing I would say as you look at your defense generals, obviously Boudica and Leonidas, good ground mount combo. I would say the thing that concerns me about Boudica for you, at least short term, is until you can actually defend your mounts, Boudica is pretty useless for you at the moment. And sorry to be so harsh with that, but you are hiding your high tier mounts most times in Battlefield and SVS. Guess what? Boudica is the one that's her main job is to protect your high tier mounts. So if you're pulling those out of your keep, you're leaving yourself extremely vulnerable. And there's probably better options in the short term. Now, as you get to K36, K37, K38, K30, and work your way up and build your buffs high enough that you can actually protect your mounts against a mounted or against a ranged troop attack, Boudica becomes much more viable as an option. I see you've invested in her. I'm not going to tell you to change it, but it's just something to consider as you're building and as you're trying to defend yourself. You removing your high tier mounts out of your keep is leaving yourself extremely vulnerable given your general selection with Boudica. I would say the other thing from Leonidas is that he's obviously got good ground buffs. I think there's probably better ground generals, especially as assistants right now. I think I'd have to do a comparison on here, but I see you have this guy. I mean, I know you use him, probably are building him to be a reinforcing general, but I mean, looking at some of his stats, like increased ground troop HP by 45, ground and mount defense by 35. Like if you're focusing on truly ground, finding a non-qualified ground attacking general or ground leading the army generals are probably a better way to put it. He may have better buffs than Leonidas. Not sure. Brock would obviously be the optimal choice over Leonidas, but Leonidas is not a bad choice. I think with anything defensively, the key is once you pick your generals, once you pick your gear, once you pick your refines, that gives you direction of what you should build. I mean, a really good example is like Boudica and Leonidas pretty much offer zero siege protection. I don't think there's any siege protection in any of their buffs. If you're going to build a ton of siege, that's a huge liability within your defense. So you want to make sure that you're building the troops in your defense, that your generals are in your gear and your refines are there to protect. Speaking of refines, your refines are excellent. I mean, from all of this gear, pretty much all have, I see one range troop HP. I mean, I think there's one siege machine defense, but the refines are excellent. Mount flats, great, especially with, I see as we start looking into your troop build here, or sorry, keep build, is that you have 133 million. I mean, that's almost as many as I have. I would say building this many T1 range and siege, it's whatever. It's probably not going to be your best defense. But I would say, hey, if you're focused on building troops, building low tier troops is for sure the way to go. I mean, that is what's going to offer you the best protection for what you're at right now. Because the reality is, if you're getting hit by a 2,000% range troop attack, if you don't have low tier mounts built, and especially with the way you have your gear refined, it's not going to make any difference. And so that's where I would focus if you're going to build troops, is build low tier mounts, anywhere tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, build those up 5, 10 million layers. You'll see a major difference in your ability to defend yourself and not get zeroed, especially on solos, if you have a lot of high tier mounts. Again, refines look great, wouldn't change anything in there. If you're looking to build higher tier troops, with Leonidas right now, ground is probably a good way to go, and then archers are never bad. Like I said, siege is great to have, but you have to be able to defend it, and right now you don't have anybody defending your keep that has siege buffs. Second place, then I would start to look, actually I'll go back, I'll just quickly go through the generals. Obviously Napoleon, great, gear looks good, refines look good. I would say Aurelian good general. It looks like he's the one you're using. Refines look good on the gear that you have here. You need to upgrade. I mean, there's no reason that you should be having dragon gear on anybody at K35. Ares is probably a minimum at this point, and you should have um, all of the requirements to be able to upgrade dragon to Ares. I would really focus on that. And then for Charles, I would say the one thing that I saw in here is there's a couple pieces of gear, this piece and I think this piece, that don't have any range troop buffs. There might be better, there could be better Imperial, there might be better Parthian gear that actually has range troop buffs on there. I'd probably focus on those guys, switching those out potentially, to offer a little bit more from a buff standpoint. The last thing I'll say on the generals is I see you have the Iron Curtain as a flex spec. Great. If Lee Nice is who you choose, or whoever you choose for your assistant, they need to have a flex spec. I looked through your inventory earlier and you have a significant amount of flex specs. The key here is that, I mean, you can see what it looks like max level. Defensively, the flex specs are the most important, because if you look at this and say all troop HP, all troop defense, all troop attack, that's all the troops inside your keep. So you're offering mount, siege, range, ground, extra 10%, extra 10%, extra 20%, and then all troop attack, a flat 500, great for your mounts. So that is a key add that you need to make sure you're putting on your defense general, just because of the wide breadth of troops that they're defending and how great this is for buffing all of those troops. So then next thing I would focus on, okay, so Spirit Piece. So I see you have a decent amount of the premium, I'll call them premium Spirit Piece open, great. I see that the highest level you have any of them are level 6. This is my philosophy on this. So these buffs in here are great, and I see you have them, most of them on sub generals, which is where they should be for the debuffs. And the debuffs are nice. My strategy on this is usually I will open one, get it to level 10, because the key and where the majority of the buffs and the improvement comes from the Spirit Piece is in the seals. So as you look at your seals, the seals don't open until you get your Spirit Piece to level 10. And then once you do, then you have the ability to upgrade these. And these buffs jump pretty quick. I mean, there's not a lot of places in here in the game where you can all of a sudden click one button and get 3% more buffs. It's like, that's pretty nice. And then you obviously get some other things. You have 10,000, almost 11,000 blood crystals. I'd say you need to pick a beast, get it to level 10. Before you do that, take a look through the beast. You can see what all their seals look like. This is pretty good. I mean, Thunderbird marching range troop attack, that's probably a good place to start. There's two kind of ways you can do it. You either say, hey, I'm really focused on getting my range troop attack up. I'm going to find each beast that has that as an option, work them to level 10 and spend all my blood crystals there. Or you can say, hey, I want to be more balanced and I want to spread it out. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. It's kind of up to you. But choosing a Spirit Beast, using your XP, getting them to level 10, opening up the seals, that's a huge way to improve your buffs. Last things here. Okay, so from a general hall standpoint, these don't look like they're open. Like Victorious Master here, I'm pretty sure those are all tavern generals. You need to grind in the tavern and get a copy of those guys, because what you're missing out on then, from an art treasure hall standpoint, you're missing out on all of these potential buffs. And some of these guys, yeah, you're going to need to get lucky with premium tokens, but like you see with this one, which is the marching mounted troop attack. Here you can see Victorious Master. Pretty sure those are all tavern generals. Genius Leader. Let's see where that guy is. I think these are Saladin might be a premium, but I mean Richard Lionheart, Khalid is in the tavern. I guess I can just look. Oh, all these guys are in the tavern. These guys are all in the tavern. So you have two lines here of generals that you can find in the tavern to unlock at least 15% more marching mounted troop attack, HP and defense, and then probably more because I'm sure you have enough scrolls to upgrade that to level 2 or level 3. So that is a huge focus. You need to grind in the tavern on those guys. Last thing, from a Senate standpoint, your Senate looks good. What you can unlock, you have unlocked. You upgrade your position level pretty nicely. Promotion, you've maxed out where you are. That looks good. No notes on that piece of it. Your dragons, I would say, look good. Refines look great on there. Refines look great on there. On here, refines look great. Refines look great. Again, for your dragon, yeah, your dragon talent is gonna for thieves is gonna help from a siege standpoint. So there is some buffs that you can get there, but that's something that you'll have to consider is like, yeah, you got some decent, these level 50 and level 26, those are great. Again, another place where you're like, okay, what is protecting my keep? Where are my buffs? What types of troops do I need to build? Those are the questions that you gotta be asking yourself as you're building troops out. Last thing, and I think probably the most confusing thing for most people, is blazons. So I went through and made a couple changes. Just, I didn't upgrade anything, but just want to show you what I did. So I'll show you the blazon that you had on here before was this one. So this is the blazon that you had right here. So you can see defending range troop attack up 6%, range troop training capacity up 4. To me, that's a trash blazon. The blazons that you should be starting and upgrading one on are blazons that have 2 quality PvP buffs. So you can see defending range troop attack, yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, you can make an argument for that one. But range troop training capacity, absolutely not. Do not waste upgrading blazons that have range troop training capacity. This one that I found, though, that I swapped out, range troop attack, marching range troop attack, that's pretty much as good as it gets. Because range troop attack up to 0.6%, that is both sides of the wall. So that's defending and attacking. Marching range troop attack, that's when you're joining a rally, when you're attacking somebody, when you're sitting in a building. It's pretty much anything except for reinforcing and defending. That's going to work. This is a high quality blazon. This is worth upgrading. Now, as you do the upgrade and get to level 10 and unlock that third, great, you get another range troop attack, boom, keep upgrading it. But if you get a range troop training capacity, it's probably time to start again on it and use that blazon, this current one that I have here, to then upgrade a new one that you slide in. Blazons take time, they're a pain in the ass because they're all mostly luck and getting what you want, but starting at the right place is something that you can control, making sure that each of your blazons is starting at the right place. Because if I look through these, range troop defense on monsters, trash. Range troop defense on monsters, trash. This one, reinforcing range troop defending, probably have better options here. This one's not bad. Range troop HP, that's great. Both sides of the wall, reinforcing. I'd probably keep going on this one. And then for this one, range troop training capacity, trash. So as you go through your blazons, what you have to, the key and what's difficult with this process is that as I'm going through this one, so I'll do this one live time. So look at Valor Ocean Blazon, look to change this. Valor Ocean, nope. No. And this is why blazons are a pain in the ass going with this. I mean, I can do filtering and stuff to make this easier, but just I was hoping I was going to find one. I don't know why this one is locked. So I wouldn't say you have anything in here at the moment that says, hey, this is worth it. From a Valor standpoint, I might have missed it, but I would say going through and as you get more blazons, recheck this one. But where you can upgrade in here, this is a good place to start. Work on upgrading these. And when you're upgrading, a couple of things that I'll say. So one, when you're switching out, what I was talking about before is that when you swap these out, you have to save this one in a preset to make sure that the one that you swapped out becomes available for upgrade. So what you have to do in here is, so I say this one, if I want to then change this one to something else, and I'll change this to this one. This is not a good one, but just for the point, I'll save this in in slot 2. Then that one that I switched out, that level 7, that will then become available to use as food or an upgrade for the current blazon that you're trying to upgrade. So that's the key, is as you swap them out, you need to save it, so then that old blazon then becomes available to use as you upgrade the new one. So something to note there. Trying to think if there's anything else in blazons, but yeah, just looking through each one of these and seeing what you have in your inventory is most important, and then understanding then, okay, what do I have to upgrade? What are the good buffs? What am I concerned about? Focusing on your ranged troop first is probably a good thing, knowing that's your primary weapon of attack. So all in all, I think looks good. Hopefully I gave you some direction on things to work on. Champions, I guess the last one, looks like you just unlocked her. She's great. She actually has 4 PvP buffs, which is rare. Usually one has like server war or march speed or troop attack on monsters. That's not PvP focused. She's good because she has 4 of them. So that's great to see. But other than that, I think you look good. So I would say the 4 things are: take a look at your defense generals, decide what you want to do and how you want to build your keep, continue to build low tier mounts, and then ground and archers, always important for defense. Spirit beasts, making sure that you're getting some to level 10 and unlocking those seals is a big deal. And then from a art treasure hall, grind in the tavern, unlock those levels of the art treasure hall to make sure of the general hall, to make sure the art treasures now start getting unlocked. Great buffs there. Oh, one thing that I forgot to say too, your civ treasures, all of these can be upgraded, except I think this first one. Make sure you upgrade those. Those are pretty big buff improvements there. And then from a blazon standpoint, finally, grind on those. That takes time. That's not something that you're going to solve in one try, but get one of those blocks good. Get it to where you want it. Okay, then work on the next one. As you start finding blazons that work, make sure you're looking to upgrade them. Last thing, I'll go back to blazons one more time. As you're upgrading though, make sure that on your filter for upgrade that you're going through and saying, hey, I don't, anything that's weight loading and trading capacity, that's what you want to use to upgrade. So I would say, hey, select that, confirm. Now you have 242 blazons here that don't have 2 PvP buffs. This is where I would start to use these as the food to upgrade your blazons. I think that's it. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and if anybody else wants me to do this for them, more than happy to take a look. Hopefully this gave everybody a little bit of direction or focus on things to work on. Have a good